We had the Louisiana Purchase, where a senator sold her health care vote. I think that was $300 million. Then there was the Cornhusker Kickback, where Senator Ben Nelson was convinced to abandon his principles in exchange for $100 million for his state. Principles are expensive, I hear. Joining me now is South Carolina Attorney General Henry McMaster, who is leading a group of 13 state attorneys general, all Republicans, who are threatening legal action. Mr. McMaster, welcome to News Talk 1110 WBT. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Glad to be with you.
I appreciate you making some time for us today. So let me ask you, first off, you have this group of 13 AGs. No Democrats are involved in this. Is this
not yet, but there may be before long.
Okay, so you are hoping to get this to be a bipartisan effort, because I would assume you politically you would be undercut by it appearing to be partisan, correct?
Well, I don't think we'd be undercut. It's just a matter of the law. But I know that there's a lot of concern among the attorneys general around the country and a lot of other people. How many of the Democrat attorneys general get involved with this, I don't know. But we have 13 of us now, all of whom are Republicans, as you mentioned.
Right. Okay, so if the concern then is the law, walk us through what your line of attack is, I guess, regarding the law.
Well, the line of attack is one about the provision that was put into the national legislation, proposed legislation that extends Medicaid out for all the states except Nebraska. There's a state share that each state must pay, and of course the federal government pays the federal share. The state pays the state share except for in Nebraska, which of course means that all the other 49 states will be paying through their federal taxes, will be paying Nebraska's state share. So that is unfair, it's unjust, and under the cases interpreting the Constitution, we think, that is 13 of us so far think that it's unconstitutional. The reason for that is that the Constitution does not allow arbitrary legislation. Every state's tax dollars except Nebraska's will be devoted to the cost sharing by the bill and will therefore be unavailable for our other state programs. That is, every state except Nebraska is shouldering its fair share. So when the law, a nationwide law like this that affects every state, makes a distinction for a state, there must be a good reason for it. The spending power of the Constitution, according to the cases, can't be exercised just arbitrarily. That is, there's got to be a good reason why there's a difference. In this instance, that is the Nebraska not having to pay for any of this, the only reason that has been proposed by anybody is that's what it took to get Senator Ben Nelson's vote. Well, getting somebody's vote on the Senate floor is not a reason that is allowed by the Constitution. That would be an arbitrary and capricious reason, unfair and unjust. So therefore, we say that the bill is subject to attack, and that is what we are challenging them to take that out of there. And this just goes off the scale in terms of what people view as corruption, a whole culture of corruption in Washington.
Did you happen to catch the op-ed written by Senator Orrin Hatch, Ken Blackwell, and Ken Klukowski as well, talking about the unconstitutionality of the health care bill? In other words, forcing people to buy private insurance.
I did not see that,
Okay.
But I've heard that argument, and a lot of the attorneys general around the country, not only those 13 of us that are involved officially on this, but in others that are not, as well as our 13, are wondering about that too, because to require somebody under the general welfare clause to require somebody to buy something that they don't want to buy raises constitutional questions. Of course, down in Florida, the fact that in Florida the senator there got a special deal where the Medicare Advantage program is going to be phased out in all the states except for Florida. So there's a multi-million-dollar deal for Florida. The question comes up, why did they get a multi-million-dollar deal that the rest of the country didn't get? I believe the answer is the same. It was to buy the man's vote. So you have a lot of those constitutional questions that are coming up in this, and the one that we have attacked so far, the 13 of us, is the one about the giveaway to Nebraska, which we think is not only unfair and unjust, but is unconstitutional.
Now, there were some recent developments by way of Senator Nelson's office. He got in touch, his office, or did he directly get in touch with you?
He called me. He called Senator Lindsey Graham, and Senator Graham, he asked, what's he have to do to get the dogs called off? and Lindsey Graham told him to call me, which he did at 6:15 on Thursday night. And he said that they were going to work on it. He explained that he had not asked for this. And I didn't challenge him on any of that, of course, but he said that they were going to work on it. He did not think that it would be in the final law. But he did say that perhaps there was a way to provide that the federal government would pay every state's share. That is, that every state would get the same deal Nebraska got, to which I responded, well, that wouldn't be a constitutional question, but that's certainly an enormous political question, because that would really that would just be an enormous expense. But as far as constitutional law goes, if you're treating every state the same, then you avoid a lot of constitutional questions. But I still think what he was proposing there is a bad idea. But I told him the way for the 13 of us to quit challenging that one provision was simply to take that provision out, take the Nebraska exception out. And if they did that, then there would be no more constitutional question as to that provision, because it'd be gone. It
also sounds like then that position he has, or I should say the concession that he got on that, isn't something that he necessarily will go to the mat to protect either.
Well, I think you're right, and I think he's getting a lot of heat out there. According to the governor of Nebraska and the other senator and the polls that I've read out there, the people of Nebraska don't want this in this way. That is, they don't like it. They think, like the rest of us, that it's unjust, it's unfair, it was done improperly, that it was amounts to vote buying on the Senate floor. They don't want to have that kind of relationship with the other states, and they want to fix it and take it out. And, of course, that's what the 13 of us are asking Senator Nelson to do in the conference, and we sure hope he does it.
Because then I also have to wonder if that was merely just a vote to get him to an attempt to get him to vote for the cloture and not even really push this thing at the end of the day if he's going to back out of it. Also, and as you mentioned, if every state gets the same exemption, then the feds are picking up the tab for every state's Medicaid bill.
Then we have to borrow even more money from China. It'd be trillions of more dollars, and there we go again.
Yeah, I don't know how that's sustainable either.
I don't either.
Yeah. South Carolina, yes, sir.
That's all.
Okay, South Carolina Attorney General Henry McMaster, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate
it. Anytime.
Good luck to you in your fight there. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.